The good life, full of fun, seems to be the idea.
Hey guys, welcome to my kitchen. Another big exciting day in my kitchen. I'm going to take you guys down a stroll memory lane. We're going to be standing next to Nana today. Boy, I tell you, I wish she was right here with us. And I'm going to share with you fried dough. We're going to make fried dough, and it's as simple and it's fast and it's fun and it's easy. But I'll tell you, it's something you want to do with your kids. It's something you certainly want to bring your family around. You know, you set those traditions, you share your heritage. It's something that I remember vividly with my grandmother, and you know, give your children that gift, certainly in the kitchen. So fried dough recipes are so common in Italian culture. You know, strufoli, which are like mini little donuts, zeppelis, which are like a larger version, kind of a cluster of dough and sugar and honey, and chiacchietti, which are like Venetian carnival cookies. I mean, there's so many different versions of fried dough, but I want to share with you something simple. It's fun, it's easy, and I'm going to put a little bit of the, you know, forget about it, a little bit of the Chef Joe Boreal twist on it, okay? So what are we going to start with? How are we going to have some fun? First, the main ingredient here, your main attraction, we're going to do some pizza dough. So what I did here is I've got some pizza dough. If you guys want to know how to make pizza dough, I got a great recipe, but essentially it's flour, water, a little olive oil, a little salt, and some yeast, and then I let it set. Now, if you refrigerate your dough or you freeze your dough, pull it out and let it set. You want to have it in a good rise. So you want to do about a 2 rise. You want it room temperature. It's going to be great. That's going to give you that tenderness, you know, that poofy tenderness, that gooey, chewy dough, crisp on the outside, sweetened on the outside. It's going to be absolutely delicious, okay? So I've got that going. I've got my pan going. Now, traditionally, I would use the higher pan, but my grandmother literally always made it in exactly that pan. So I've got some olive oil in there, and I put olive oil in there about 1.5 inches or so up. And then I've got that going at about 375 degrees. So that's ready to go. So we're gonna rock right into it. I got about 2 cups of sugar, and then we're gonna wanna flavor it. Now you can use cinnamon on this, and like a cinnamon sugar. You can use honey, you can use powdered sugar. Traditionally in our household, we always used the granulated sugar. And my mouth was watering just talking to you guys, and I always like that crunch. I like the crunch of the sugar when I bite into it. So I've got the sugar, and then my grandmother would always flavor the sugar. So we're gonna make a vanilla granulated sugar. So like I said, I got almost about 2 cups of sugar, and then I've got 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and I've got nutmeg. We're gonna stir it up, we're gonna let that set while we cook it. We're gonna bring them out, hit them with sugar, and we're gonna eat them. I'm thinking like a coffee latte, you know what I mean? Like a latte right next to the side. Man, talk about a food coma. You can get a food coma on these puppies. So I just wanna make a vanilla sugar, if you will, flavored with just that little pinch of nutmeg, all right? So real simple, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the vanilla and I'm gonna just let it drip into the sugar, okay? Now, it'll cluster at first, but because you're putting a small amount of the vanilla in there, okay, and this is like a vanilla syrup that I make, and then I've got my nutmeg. So what I typically do is you just take a nutmeg here, right, and you give it a grind. That's what I did earlier, right? Fresh nutmeg, nothing better. And I've just got a pinch. I mean, literally, I call it like a breath of nutmeg. So you'll barely even taste the nutmeg. And then what you're gonna do here is you're just, rather than, don't get the fork all covered with your vanilla, okay? And then you're just gonna stir it. And at first it'll kind of clump, but what you'll see here in about a minute, and as you stir it, it'll just give you a little bit of a off color to the sugar, and that just incorporates the vanilla. Just gives it that other depth of flavor with that breath of nutmeg in your fried dough that you'll never have. Sometimes I'll see people put a little splash of like lemon or an orange right in the flavor. You can use like an almond flavor, like an anise flavor in there. Anything goes. I mean, whatever you want. Sometimes you can put a liqueur in there. You know, so depending on the tradition of that Italian family or where that family comes and what village and what was really popular. And that's the beauty of Italy, because everywhere you go, it's so much different. So I'm going to let that basically crystallize and let that really marry those flavors. And then we're going to set up to make our fried doughs, all right? Talk to you guys in a minute. Oh, smells good, right? And I've got a little flour just to kind of dust it as I'm cutting it. And what I did in here so it doesn't stick is I hit it with a little olive oil, okay? So the olive oil here that I used is probably the best olive oil on the planet. Yes, it's time for my shameless plug, and that's my Vito and Joe. So we've got a farm in Italy, an olive grove, and what we do is we farm our own olives and we share this beautiful green gold with you guys. You can get it right on our YouTube channel, you can get it right on our Amazon, and you can get it right on our Facebook. Just click right on there, order now, and grab yourself a small bottle, large bottle. It's peppery, earthy, grassy. Man, I'll tell you, it's good. Now, the olive oil I got going back here is not an extra virgin. Traditionally in Italy, they're not going to use canola oil, and they're not going to use vegetable oil. They're usually going to use olive oil, and that's going to be the gold oil. In other words, the virgin oil is going to give you the green and that flavor of the olive. The second or third pressing is going to give you the gold or yellow oil. So it looks very much like canola or vegetable oil. So you're going to want to use that or a peanut oil. Those are really your two most common oils that they're going to use in Italy, or they're going to use a lard and they're going to fry right in the lard. So that just gives it a beautiful flavor without taking away from all the flavors that you're using. So I'm going to take my dough and I'm going to get some flour here on the base, okay? So I'm going to get this all over my shirt, just so you know, but I'll do the best I can. So I'm just going to get it across, right? Oh, it's sticking. And see how nice and light that is? So you want it to rise, because when it has that rise, it's going to give it a texture, like I said, of that fluffy. Now, I don't like to hammer it down in this case. The simplest thing I like to do, I don't want to knock it down and roll it out and make it flat, because what you're going to do is you're going to lose that texture. So I'm going to just cut them. See what I mean? Just like that. And if you want to stretch it, but try not to flatten them out, okay? So I've got all my pillows here, right? I've got all my fried dough, and I'm going to stretch it out just a little bit before I pop it in there. You can use a pair of tongs. You can use a nice little oil screen. I've got my oil nice and hot. It's about 375. So I'm going to take this and just gently give it a little pull, okay? So I'm just going to get it stretched out, and I'm going to lay it right in the oil. So nice and easy. Oh, look at that, right? Perfect. You're going to see some nice bubbling. You see how they're puffing up, just beautiful. And what I always like to do is just do a quick look, just to make sure they're not cooking too quick. You guys see that color right there? Ho ho! Look at that, man. Whoa! That is absolutely perfect. So I want that backside to be just a little bit more golden brown, and then we're going to pull these out and rack them. All right, guys, look at that. Oh, can you see that? That is, and you cannot get more perfect than that. I'll tell you, the smell in here, you know, we're going to need smell-o-vision, taste-o-vision, and eat-o-vision today. That's what we're going to need, man. All right, guys, it's time to sugar them up. So these just came out, they're hot. These you already did, and this is my cup of coffee when I start eating these puppies, all right? So what you're gonna do, that's hot. So I'm gonna put it right in the sugar, and you get a little messy, but you wanna get right in there. You wanna use your hands. You wanna put it right on there when it's hot, and you're just gonna cover it right up. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? So don't be afraid to give it a little push. And you've got that beautiful flavor of vanilla, a hint of nutmeg. Again, you can use whatever you want. You could put coffee in there. You could put anise in there. You don't have to put anything in there. I mean, is that like unbelievable? You guys ready to get obese, coronary heart disease, diabetes, and a food coma all at the same time? I know I am. I got my cappuccino right here. I'm gonna grab that puppy right there. That one there, right on the top. You know, you've got that, it's sugar, and it's just got that faint backdrop of vanilla, and you can't even taste the nutmeg, but there's something there, you know? Oh, this is good. Don't you want to just like dive into that thing? Don't you wish I could just do that? I wish I could do that. And see all the sugar around my mouth? I love the crunch of that sugar. Oh my God. You know, you got the sugar that hits your mouth right away, and then you got the gooey dough, the crunch on the outside, you know? Oh my God. That is, it's like time machine, right back to Grandma's kitchen. Now, She made me a hot chocolate on my little cappuccino right now. I'll tell you what, take the kids' phones away, shut the TV off, turn the video game off, spend some time with your kids in the kitchen, set some traditions, celebrate your heritage. Guys, until next week, mwah, bon appetit.
Good life, full of fun, seems to be